Here we are, on the gates then for the MX2 class for the MXBGP here in Portugal. And off we go. Closing window. Who's it going to be? It's going to be Frankelek. No, sorry, my apologies. It is going to be Pumpikasu with the hole shot. Fantastic start then for himself. And we'll be looking to see if he can continue to hold that spot here in the meantime. Finn off to a pretty poor start as well there, getting caught up in some early incidents. Baited and Valentin off too. Lupasek then trying to make his way past Brad, but we've got Pumpikasu here versus Neon in the battle for P1. Neon on the JP Designs bike and Pumpikasu on the JP Suspension KTM on the outside now. Come up and over the finish jump. Big old double table and a huge triple to follow it. Very nice stuff here so far as Pump still holds that racing lead as we come around the start of the lap. Looking very nice indeed. Neon there goes for that big old send over the wall jump. Interesting how many people opt for the full send line. You can see this battle starting to develop very nicely here though between Neon and Pump. He's going to try and find a positional move here at some point in the very near future, but if he's not careful, Brad's going to come down the inside on the Mostra KTM and absolutely snatch away P2. What a move there from Brad. Lovely stuff indeed. Neon though immediately back on the defence, resecures a position at least for now as we come through these Portuguese waves and down towards the 99 Designs hairpin. Heading now to the massive Valor triple mega jump, whatever you want to call it. It is absolutely huge. Very large stuff indeed. And then of course coming back down now into the Black Label Co. triple step down. Super fun little jump. You can see the 250s just about make it when they get that good line in. Very nice stuff indeed. Let's check out the battle for P3 then. Looks like Lipo's pulled out that P3 position for now. Brad down in P4. That's going to allow Yannick to get through. And potentially Revel as well. Revel then does get through on the 99 Designs KTM. Lovely stuff indeed. Back up with Neon. Neon's crashed his way out of P2. Lipasek now then securing his way further up onto the podium. And of course alongside Pumpikasu in those top two spots. But he still has to try and get past him now. We'll see what sort of times we can put in. We shall see what sort of times we can put in. I'm not actually sure who got the top qual here for the 250 class. If anyone does know, do enlighten me. Looks like Neon managed to hold on to P3 despite that crash. Yannick and Revel then battling out for P4 here at the moment. 99 KTM though having to give way to the Jibico bike as Yannick makes the position stick. Finn's in 19th. Yeah, he got off to a really bad start. He was way at the back of the field. I think he was involved in an early race crash leading into that whole shot turn, which is definitely not ideal for the red plate bike, but I'm sure we'll see him climb up through the field a little later on here tonight. Yeah, sending that wall seems to be the optimal strategy there. You keep him and maintain a decent momentum on the way down towards the AB Customs corner jump there. Does he mean as he can do it? Yeah, exactly. He's got plenty of time. He's got plenty of time to climb up through that field, and I'm sure we'll see him do so. It's just going to be a matter of how long that takes. Revel and Brad there having minor contact. Brad though managing to recover the crash and keeps on two wheels of the shiny side facing upwards. Around the hairpin we go then, just absolutely railing the outside line. Very nice stuff as we clear the triple up and over this hill. Very nice stuff from here from Revel on the defensive, trying to hold off too many lines from Brad. And of course blocking from any potential switchbacks, but of course Brad is going to be looking to try and optimise his lines here to try and sneak away past Revel. He's testing out the different lines. Oh dear, Yannick having a bit of a moment there, getting caught up. But yeah, he's testing out those different lines at the minute, see which lines are effective versus Revel's comfortable defensive racing lines. Unfortunately, it's not going to matter. The 99 bike does go down, and Brad then will go on to resecure the podium once again. Lipasek still leads with a pretty hefty gap here, 2.7 seconds in the first couple of laps. So that's a very nice start to his evening. Brad obviously up and on that podium now. Revel down into P4 as a result. Freitas and Pumpikasu seems to be the next battle on the field in the battle for P5. Brad off the track, certainly not good for these guys, and that makes it a three-way battle for P4 now as we come harsh up the hill through the split section corners. Looking very nice here for most of the guys here so far. Freitas down the inside. Pump, they're going to get a better drive up and over this finish jump. Manages to scrub his way up and through past Freitas and into what I believe is P4 on the track here. So very nice time indeed. Checking back up. Looks like Neon's way ahead of Revel now. And Lipo even further still. Very nice stuff indeed. We're going to have a little flick down through the field, see if we can catch some extra stuff. We've got Freitas and Pump there having a nice battle as we predicted. Fear Murder doing alright on the AOMX KTM as well. Always nice to see. Willie on the Privateer KTM down the inside of Laurent Demo. Can he squeeze a position past the KDR bike? It doesn't look like it. Laurent goes for a beautiful little block pass there, gets the line locked off and leaves Willie in the outside fighting for traction. Sand Chicken then finds his way through as a result, and so does Spocket maybe. No, Spocket's had a huge crash. My goodness me. What an unfortunate situation there to witness. It looks like, though, Neon is actually catching up with the racing leader Lipasek. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, that's, he's not going to be able to land that one. Definitely a tough situation to find yourself in. It's definitely closing in, though, so I presume he's slightly faster than Lipo, at least in these opening stages of the race, while everyone gets settled in to the long run now. Still got 24 minutes on the clock, of course. Come on, Gators, Curse. Exactly. Exactly. We got Brad here, though, right onto the back of Revel. Looking like he might be able to get a position done here once again. These guys have already had a couple of fights in the early stages of this race. Plenty of time to go. It's going to be an endurance one, as always, here in the MXBGP. 30-minute motos really do take it out of you. It's a weird thing, because, of course, you're not getting, like, physically tired from riding the bike, but, like, hand cramps, thumb fatigue, 100% a thing, mental fatigue, too. Just the ability to maintain good concentration. Looking very nice here for Revel. He might be able to close up onto the back of Brad, but it's going to take him a little moment. I want to have a quick brief look at Neon. Looks like he's holding up okay, but he's lost a lot of time here to Lipo. So that's going to be a difficult situation to recover from here. Brad, of course, currently sitting in that P3 position just ahead of Revel after making his way past the 99 KTM and Pump, trying to find his way through there on the JP suspension KTM. He's going to get through as well as a result of Revel's unfortunate crash there on the outside of the track. Freitas on the try-hard KTM tries to make it squeeze on through. Can he get down the inside? Yes, he can. Is it going to be enough, though? Revel on the nice drive into the outside line. Can he secure the position back? It doesn't look like it. Freitas then on the try-hard FCM KTM will make his way through and up into whatever position we're in, P5. What a fantastic commentary. Cloud then trying to get down to the inside of Fear Murder. Can't quite get the position done. I'm going to brief look back up with Neon versus Brad. Looks like Brad's starting to close that gap up to Neon just a little bit, and Neon onto the back of Lipasek too. So definitely a potential for a change up there in the top three towards the closing stages of the race. For now, though, Pumpkasu holding on nicely to P4. Got himself a bit of breathing room, and he may actually get P3 here down the inside of Brad. A lovely little capitalization there on the mistakes of his opponent. Brad then tries desperately to re-secure the position and block off Pumpkasu, but it's not going to happen. Side by side we go then over the Dace Moto tabletop. Pump landing a little bit deep and off to the side, but still manages to re-secure the position as we come through the split section S-bend. Brad there unfortunately does go down on the outside, leaving Pump to secure that P3 spot. Nice and securely. Revel and Fear, they're making this a three-way fight for P4 now on the field, as the 99 Designs KTM tries to make his way past. Again, nice and scrubby, landing really early there over the finish jump. Gets it all the way over the triple on the 250, and that gives him a fantastic drive look into the outside corner. Beautiful stuff indeed, as we go for the full send over the wall. Yeah, interesting to see no one opting for that inside line. Of course, you want to go for the fast line if you're not forced into the slow line. And yes, indeed. Have we got a race for P1? You are correct. This is Neon versus Lipasek on screen here at the moment. The JP Designs KTM makes his way through then, up and into that pole position here for the moment. Can he secure it and secure the race win a little later on? That's going to be a whole different ball game now. Lipasek going to be switching on and getting his head back in the game here to attempt to get back past Neon. It's going to be a very, very difficult situation then, of course. Now, the tough thing I'm having is I actually cannot remember who's the red plate. It's between Finn and Neon, and I'm not 100% sure. I believe it's Finn for MXBGP, and Neon for Soupy, but I may be wrong. It may be the other way around. It is Finn for MXBGP. Big W. My brain was right. No, yeah, he was red plate for another series, Rax. I believe he must have been Supercross then for 250 East, I want to say. But yes, indeed, Lipasek putting in some fantastic work here to try and close back onto the JP Designs KTM. Can he find a little position? It's got like a 40-point gap. Yeah, it's my bad. I haven't even checked it yet. But yeah, red plate and Soupy, that's what we're thinking. That's why I was getting confused. The only downside to commentating two series, eh? But we're looking nice and smooth here for Neon as he holds on to that racing lead for the moment. A pretty considerable gap here down to Lipasek, roughly a second or so, but on the track. We'll see how that updates over the timing gates, though. In a little moment, I guess. Pumpkasu doing quite nicely in the P3 spot. I'm going to check in with Revel. Looks like he's broken away for the P4 at the moment. We've got Freitas and Laurent Demo having a nice little battle just behind, though, in the fight for P5. Just double checking in with Lipo. That gap, 2.5 seconds now to the leader. Got a little bit of work to go then. Rondimo and Brad Jekyll finding their way right onto the back of Freitas now. Can we get a little bit of a positional move coming up here soon? Freitas is trying to get their way past Revel. It's a difficult situation. We know this 9.9 bike is pretty hot on his defensive situational awareness. So now we get to see if he can hold off 3 bikes. That's the real question here at the moment. Having a very nice time doing so, as we say. So Freitas having a bit of a case there over the big jump, keeping themselves nice and stable for the grand scheme of things. Though Laurent having a fantastic drive down the inside, and the Husqvarna, look at that, closes the gap right up now, just a couple of bike lengths as we enter into the JVDL Designs double down. Looking very nice. Freitas manages to get the position resecured and back into safe hands by the looks of things. Gets into that inside rut. Very difficult inside rut to grab there. You've got to get your line absolutely perfect over the hill. Oh, and a big crash down there in turn 3. Not what you want to be seeing. Not what you want to be seeing at all. But there is still 90 minutes to try and recover from that. It's just going to be a very difficult recovery operation. Lipo can just see Neon slowly creeping away from him at the front of the field there. Roughly 3 seconds now, so half a second in the last lap. Definitely pulling a pretty considerable pace then. Pumpkassu with a bit of a wonky landing there. Lovely stuff indeed. We got to check back then with Brad, Sam and Rondimo. Sam on the TSCZ, Swan Labs KTM trying to close in and re-secure the position. Sam, of course, doing very well this season. Holding on to some pretty nice points up there with his teammates. Brad, though, puts in a lovely outside line there, just keeping them fended off for the moment. Up and over that triple we go. Ooh, has a hairy landing there, but he gets it back on track. He does lose 2 positions in the meantime. Or just the 1 position, sorry, my apologies. Laurent did not get through. Oh, but he will now. That's an unfortunate situation there for the Mostra KTM. We seem to have cursed him. Freitas and Borealis may find a way through, but it's going to be very tight between these guys. Freitas just about holding on. Now it looks like Brad is hot on the defensive now, but just can't quite fend him. There you go, KTM then to the outside. Looks like Borealis could get through, and he does. Unfortunate situation there for Brad. He's going to try and work a little bit harder then to try and re-secure those positions. Of course, it's very difficult to be on the defensive foot, especially immediately after a crash. Not to worry though. We do see Lipo losing time to Neon. I'll check in with these lap times here real quick, see what sort of times we're getting on the early stages of the race. So 1:38.5 there from Neon, the current racing leader. We've got Lipasek running at 1:41.2, so considerably slower then. Pumpkassu with a 40.9, so slightly faster than Lipo. Could see a battle for P2 develop. Revel with a 42.5, 42.3. We're going to have a look at Finn though, because Finn's absolutely been storming this season. He's only run a 39.2, or 39.323, sorry. And that last lap there, another 39.799. So pretty consistent lap, barring lap 6 there, with a bit of a misjudgment by the looks of things. But he could definitely be catching up with the leading pack. Whether he can catch Neon or not, it's going to be a different question, I think. Neon, if he can pull consistent lap times, is ever so slightly faster on this circuit at the moment. Of course, it is the early stages, and Finn has so much more traffic to worry about, which will, of course, be affecting his lap times. But we can see Neon now coming into the back of the field, and it's starting to get those blue flags waving. Yeah, Lipstek's keeping very smooth over this inside hill. Doesn't quite manage to get that inside rut, but it doesn't seem to matter too much. He has a decent drive down the Valor step down regardless. Yeah, an interesting situation here. Neon just finding his way through that field. We'll have a little look then through the rest of the field, see if we can find ourselves an extra little battle or two. Got to find some interesting things like Brad versus Borealis still going on between these guys. This is all the way back in the fight for P9, I believe. It's either P7 or P9. Who even knows anymore? The timing gates are a little bit weird, and of course, once people start getting a couple of seconds of penalties here and there, it does start mixing it up a little bit strangely. But we shall be okay for the majority of things. We've got Neon around the outside of DD there. Makes a move. Lovely stuff. Sam there just ahead of Revel, makes his way through and up into P4 now on the field for the TSCZ team. The team usually pretty strong in this MXBGP series. We can see Finn and Dan both down here around the top 10 area. Definitely struggling in the opening half of the first moto. But just hit over there on the halfway point for the first race here tonight. And as it stands, Neon still in that top spot, Lipasek for P2 and Bumpakasu in P3. Having a bit of a moment there on the JP suspension bike, but it seems the suspension has paid off as he just lands completely static and ready to move again. Never seen that before. Then missed the finish line one time. What happened? He got off to a really, really bad start, Bagay. He got caught up, I believe, in a crash leading into the first whole shot turn, and has been slowly fighting a recovery battle ever since. We'll give him a little bit of screen time, actually. We haven't seen him too much. He's right onto the back of Borealis now in the fight for P11, I believe. Well, Borealis is showing P11 on the thing. I believe Borealis got some pretty significant penalties, though. I believe this is actually the fight for P9 on track. Laurent Demo obviously holding the P7 spot, but Brad, I believe, is in front of him, so I'm not really sure exactly where everyone's supposed to be. Just good old MX Bikes fashion, you know how it is. How we are going, welcome in. But we're having a nice time here so far. Finn then putting some serious pressure onto the back of Borealis. We know Finn is considerably faster than the majority of the bikes here in the top 10. Only really having to worry too much about the top 2 in the field at the moment, in terms of what we've seen for their fastest laps. We'll check in again in another few minutes or so, and see how things escalate. Laurent Demo, though, hard on the defence now for the KDR team on the Husqvarna. He's got Finn, though, sniffing his tail. Finn, of course, the red plate leader for the championship at the moment here in the EU MXBGP for the MX2 class. Laurent having a fantastic bit of defensive riding, though, keeps those fast lines and isn't giving Finn an inch that isn't deserved. Finn then having to fight for every last tiny bit of ground, and it looks like he's got a nice drive up the inside, but ultimately has a bit of a dodgy switch. I have absolutely no idea how he's managed to pull that off. What a move. Unfortunately, they do connect there, as Laurent carries just a little bit more speed than I think Finn was anticipating there, and they do have a front to rear collision in the air. Definitely not ideal. Both bikes then are losing the position to Borealis on the AEO KTM, who's managed to sneak his way back on through then after some nice consistency. I hate the walls then so much. It is pretty cheesy. It's pretty cheesy. It would be nice if everyone kind of like rolled it, but it's very difficult to try and make a shape that people aren't just going to send on this game, you know. Especially when you can just kind of tank a landing to flat without having to worry too much. Yeah, it would be nice to see the bikes a little less stable on such a heavy landing. It is what it is. MX Bikes fashion, exactly. Yeah, a gentleman's agreement would be cool. But when it comes to like last lap, that would get thrown out the window so fast. Neon here, working his way through that back lap traffic. We're going to have a little bit more screen time for Finn now, as he's in a proper bit of a battle here between himself, Willie, down up there in front. We've also got Laurent Demo in front as well, still holding on to the position on the KDR Husqvarna, not giving Finn an inch. Very nice stuff here then for the majority of the field. We've got Sam here making his way up through the back lap marker bikes now. Or the back marker lap down bikes is what I was supposed to say, but apparently my brain didn't think that was a sentence. But anyways. Can you double the wall jump in qual? I think that you can do it in qualifying, simply because it's very difficult to actually like enforce it for everyone over every lap for a 20-minute qualifying session in like 6 different servers, you know. But it will disqualify you if you're caught doing it in a race, like Swerve says there in the chat. But yes, we got to do our religious shower for Swerve here. What a legend! The man hosts the NA MXBGP series. If you're not giving him some love, do go and share him some. He needs it for you. He's obviously your NA host. Very dedicated. Been doing it way longer than I have. And of course, Narvo's co-host for the Supercross streams. But yes, indeedies. Yes, indeedies. I'm looking after Narvo when he's sick. What an angel, eh? Anyways, let's get back to the race, shall we? We've got a pretty hefty gap here now. Neon running a reasonably fast time. He's running... Well, he hasn't improved on the 38.5, but he's staying pretty consistent in the low 40s there, barring the 10th lap there, where it seems he had a bit of a moment. But I imagine Lipasek did too, yeah, 45-second lap there. So definitely struggling a little bit with overall time. You can see Sam ever so slightly faster than both of them in terms of his average laps at the minute. So he's definitely homing in for that P1 or potentially P2 spot. And we'll see how that develops. Finn, though, in the meantime, getting through past Laurent for the first time in a long time. Laurent put up a fantastic bit of defensive riding there, but ultimately it just wasn't enough. Finn then, his best lap was lap 9 with a 39.144 here at the moment. Lovely stuff indeed here. Finn putting in some serious work now. All the way up to... He's in P11 now. What a beast. Speeding along. Neon's kind of zooming. Lipo's kind of zooming. He's losing just a fraction of a second a lap to Neon, though. It's just tiny, tiny bits that he's losing. And neither bike is running their true optimal speed here at the moment. So I'm sure we'll be able to see them close up if Lipo starts to put the taps on here in a little while. But for now, Neon does open that gap up. Another couple of tenths there as we come into the next lap here soon. In fact, hang on, Lipo was mad close there. He's like right on him, look. That is nowhere near 7 seconds. What has happened here? It looks like Neon must have had a crash, surely. Let's see what the timing gates update to. Yeah, just 2.2. I was very concerned there for a second. I thought Lipo had some really severe penalties. But it does appear to be that JP Designs KTM did go down at some point that we didn't see on screen. Lipo then managing to close down the gap as a result. And with the sighting of the leading bike, that's going to give him a newfound feeling of adrenaline. And sure to get the blood pumping up once again here in the last 8 minutes of the race. Neon, of course, will be having a little bit of a panicky moment, but you can see he's staying pretty calm and collected here at the moment, keeping his lines nice and tight. Not taking any major risks here, just keeping as stable as we can. That's what we like to see. And Lipo, in the meantime, going to be obviously doing the same, but hopefully with slightly more aggressive lines. Potentially looking to close that gap up once again. Lovely line through that uphill hairpin. In towards the back label go jump. Lovely stuff indeed. It looks like Neon's starting to break away again there. Look, you can see he's just a few tenths of a second a lap faster, which ultimately does open up a gap. Pretty speedy. Down the inside of the Goon Squad bike goes Sam. Just about getting there through without any contact. That was very, very close to being taken out by a lapper there. Deary me. Doing it very nicely though. Back up with Revel and Ulmer. Looks like Ulmer is a lap down, so Revel in a pretty comfortable position here for now. Brad and Fear Murder is actually one of the battles on the field. This is the fight for P6, I believe, on the track at the moment here. Brad looking to try and find his way through then on that Mostra KTM. Can he get it done past the AOMX bike? It's going to be a tough situation here to try and find that open opportunity. There it is, though. There's a door wide open, and he absolutely slams his way through it. Very nice stuff there for Brad, and Fear Murder just has to kind of watch him through and almost wave him through the door there. Just to allow himself to continue in a nice, sensible fashion. Unfortunately, getting a few minor mistakes there, losing a little bit more time to Brad. And that position looks like it's pretty secure, though, for the KTM up in front. We've got Pomp Kasu here. He was P3, now down to P4 as a result of Sam's manoeuvres through the field. Definitely going to be wanting to try and squeeze his way back up onto the podium here this weekend in that very bright looking colourful gear. Very colourful indeed. We've got Revel, Borealis, Brad and Fear all down the main straight. We've got a lap down bike in the middle of them. But a pretty interesting little bit of riding is developing here. We've got Revel versus Borealis. That's the fight for P5. And then Fear and Brad is the battle for P6 here. Or the battle for P7, sorry, on the track. My apologies. But it looks like Borealis is suffering with a penalty. As... actually, no, Brad isn't. Looks like Borealis is the only one out of that little group with a penalty, which is an unfortunate situation for himself to be in. As he's also about to be overtaken by Brad if the Mostra KTM has anything to say about it. Can he find his way through the AEO bike? Hot on the defence though. Borealis putting in some fantastic lines here. Not giving him an open door. At least not for the moment. We'll see if that one opens up. Oh, there's one. Deary me. An unfortunate door. And he's been caught up in it. Not an ideal situation there. Fear Murder gets collected too. Finn then finds his way past 3 bikes in one collision. That is what you call capitalising on the situation there. Very, very nice stuff. And he'll be all the way up through to P6, I believe, now on the track. Past Fear there, look. So yeah, once the timing gates update us, we know Borealis is slightly penalised. And unfortunately touches the front of Finn's bike, goes down as a result. Or touches the back of his bike, sorry. With the front of his bike. That's what we were supposed to say there, but it looks like Finn's going to make his way through quite nicely, hold on to the gap, and continue manoeuvring up through the field. You can see lap time starting to improve a little bit here, getting a little bit more consistent there with the high 39s, low 40s. Very nice stuff indeed. Alrighty, back on with the swing of things. It looks like Lipo's closed a little bit more time to Neon, but ultimately Neon is still opening that gap all the way back up to the 6-second gap that we saw before the crash now. And that's going to cost him, well, it's not going to cost him, it's going to do him very well is what I mean. It's going to cost Lipasek. He's putting in a decent bit of work here so far, but it's going to be a tough little situation to continue going on here for the AEO KTM. Half a second there in the last half a lap. Very difficult to maintain there, and of course Sam looking to try and close in onto the back of Lipo here. I just want to compare their times real quick. 39.275 best, 40 best. So Sam better on an optimum lap. Lipo looks like he's staying more consistent though. 41, 41, 42. And then Sam's run a 40, 40, 47. So he's still prone to the occasional crash by the looks of things. Finn though, starting to storm up through the field. He's up into that P6 position like we mentioned just a lap ago. And is almost onto the back of Revel. That's the P599 Designs bike just up in front. Getting very close, you can see him just whipping up over that Ace Moto table for now. Let's see how the 99 bike does for now. He's put up a pretty solid bit of defensive riding across every opponent that's managed to squeeze their way past him here tonight. But yeah, not one to leave an open door unless the door seems to be forced upon him in the way of a Barbosa-related front tuck. But yeah, so hopefully we see a nice little battle develop between these guys, because Finn inevitably is catching up there, just slightly faster across the course of a lap. Of course, Revel off to a better start and stage, with nice and consistent throughout the entire moto, barring a few minor incidents. Finn though going to be looking to try and use that experience to find his way past any and all opportunities. Up and around the outside we go now then, and unfortunately the pressure gets to Revel, clips the tough block on the outside there, and there's just enough to let Finn on through. Finn then back up into that top 5 once again here this season. Pretty much where we're used to seeing him at this point in the top 5, usually top 3. And doing pretty nicely with it as well. So hopefully we'll continue to see him climb up through the field here. He's got another 10 seconds, well 8 seconds to go, sorry, to the P4 bike of Pampakasu. So long work to go there. You can see him just climbing into the background here. But yeah, so we shall potentially see a little bit of positional change. It looks like there's a lap down bike between these guys. Nothing too difficult for him to deal with, I'm sure. Alright, checking in then with some times on the board. It looks like Brad was close to Fear, but it looks like Fear potentially holding on to some pretty nasty penalties. Definitely not going to be what he wants. Borealis there rejoining. We know he's sitting on a couple as well there on the AEO bike. Definitely a tough situation to find yourselves in then, boys. Let's have a little look on through the field. We've got down there doing quite nicely. Laurentimo on the over the Valor jump, sorry, on the KDR Husqvarna. Keeping himself very, very smooth indeed. Deary me. Sam there, putting in some real work here for that P3 spot. He's closed 20 seconds down to just 15. It looks like Lipo may have had a bit of a sketchy moment. Not potentially a fall, but definitely a sketchy moment. In fact, it may have been a fall. There's a 47 on that last lap. That'll be what's helped close Sam's time down then. They're running very, very similar pace in terms of their average laps. I'm sure we'll see that gap close if Lipo makes any more major mistakes, but it shouldn't close too much. He should be able to hold that P2 position, provided he can stay consistent over the course of the next 2 to 3 laps or so in the closing stages of this first moto. My apologies if I sound a bit weird today. I'd say I've come down with a little bit of a cold, but it's nothing too major tonight. Just means that occasionally I do have to go silent, mute the old mic and blow my nose. Looking very nice here for Neon though. Coming into the closing stages now of the first moto here for the MX2 class. We've got the 450 class coming up here immediately afterwards. So we shall be ready for some extra nice racing here in just a few moments. But for now, we've still got the last couple of laps. Anything can still happen. Drama has in fact happened a fair few times this weekend already. So we'll see if we can get any in the MXBGP race. Baited there, just allowing his teammate on through with no contest at all. Absolutely lovely to see a good bit of teamwork there. Lovely stuff indeed. Of course, Baited would allow any blue flag bike to pass, as is the rules. However, if you can let a teammate through with a little bit of extra consideration, you can hopefully help the team in the long run make it up through the race. The network code seems to be having a bit of a fit today, trying to show Lipo having a bit of a crash that doesn't seem to actually be happening. Neon here coming up onto the back of Spocket to lap this bike. We'll see if he can pull it off. We've got Sam. Where is Sam? Sam is just behind Lipasek now. He's finding his way past the Jibico KTM. That's Yannick there on the blue flag bike. Yeah, Sam could actually get the position done here past Lipasek. Just a few seconds between them now as we come into the final couple of laps here very, very shortly. Down on the Vela step down. Oh, shit. Smacked the mic. My apologies. But yeah, Sam's been putting in a really nice ride here tonight. He got off to a really rough start, as did the rest of his team, basically. All the way down, I think that he was in roughly like P16, I believe I saw him at the very start of the race. And it's done very nicely to climb his way all the way up to P3. And now to start closing that gap down to Lipo as well is a lovely, lovely thing to see. A bit of a wheelie there on the landing as we come up towards the AB Customs jump. And smooth for the most part now. Now on the double step down we go. And the double step up around this long right corner. Up we go, looking nice and smooth. Lipasek holding on a very, very tight line just in front. Definitely looking to try and stay on the defensive now, just into our last couple of laps though. We do not have long to try and make a move happen here for the TSCZ KTM. Absolutely railing the top outside line of that. It looks like it's paid off. What a speed boost. Speed boost? Speed boost. Dear me. Apparently I can't talk today, but it's not like I need to do that or anything. Down the inside for Sam. Lipasek must be able to hear him now. The pressure has to be building onto the back of that AEO bike. Is he going to crack? That's the real question here. Sam down the inside. They're going to collide. Minor collision between the two. Both bikes stay upright though. Just a little bit of elbow touching then. As Sam tries to continue to apply pressure now to the back of the AEO FXR KTM. Going to be a very, very difficult battle to find his way through. Lipasek not going to be willing to give this position up easily. Of course, we are also still having to work our way through some back lap traffic as well, which is definitely not ideal. Sam tries to get down to the inside, just can't get the drive on the exit though. Lipo then gets a little bit wobbly on the landing, up and over the finish jump, bringing us onto the final lap now as we continue in the battle for P2. Very nice stuff indeed. I'll try and remember to switch over to Neon just as he comes across the line. But of course we are going to stick with this battle until its inevitable conclusion. Deary me. Neon's just up there in front. I don't know if you saw that. Just ahead of Sand Chicken. Neon is not far ahead of these guys now. Looks like he's had an incident of his own there on the penultimate lap. And lost a fair bit of time off his lead. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Of course, Lipo going to be putting in absolutely everything he has here at the moment, as is Sam. Sam trying to find any sign of a weakness, any opportunity, any, well, anything really. He's got to try and find something here if he wants that P2 position to get a good chance of taking that overall towards the end of the night. He finds the way around the outside. Lipasek then has nothing to answer to that. Can he resecure it back down the inside line here across the Black Label Company? Triple step down, it doesn't look like it. And Sam then on the TSCZ KTM on the final lap makes a very, very cheeky move to get past Lipasek. Come into one of the final turns of the circuit here. Lipasek has not got very long at all now to try and close that gap back up. We can see Neon just up in front, ahead of Sand Chicken, coming down towards the finish jump section here very, very shortly. Lipo still trying to find an opportunity. Sam very hesitant to give him one. A little look up here with the leader then as we come around that final corner. Neon on the JP Designs KTM will be securing P1 for Moto 1 here tonight in Portugal. Lovely stuff indeed. Sam then secures P2 just ahead of Leapasek, but it looks like Leapasek re-secures it due to penalties on the TSCZ Swan Labs KTM. A super unfortunate situation then for Sam. After all that fight, still doesn't get the second place position. Lipo going to be very glad to re-secure that. Finn though worked his way up from almost the back of the field all the way to P4. What a phenomenal drive there. Definitely the rider of the day so far. Picasso having a nice time here too. Fear Murder coming across the line for P6 here very shortly, just ahead of the 99 Designs Revel bike. Well, the other way around. You know what I mean? Words. Lovely stuff there for Fear as he comes up and over the line for P6, Revel for P7, Brad for P8 and Borealis for P9 after the penalties apply. Willie on the privateer, KTM doing nicely for the P10 spot, and Laurent Demo for P11 here on the KDR Husqvarna. Got to give him an extra special shout out for today. Some fantastic defensive riding there from Laurent Demo earlier on, and I'm sure we'll see him continue to develop that throughout the rest of the season. Balancing then for P13, an unfortunate finish for him here tonight. Cloud on the Northco KTM, not far back on the P14 KTM. Frank takes the position on track, and Cloud actually gets P15 after the end there. After Frank penalties were not as dramatic as the timing balls led us to believe. Reedy then up and over the line for P16. We have Randall from the TSCZ KTM going to be finishing up P17. A valiant effort there then. We have Freitas on the Tryhard KTM at not too far mark. He's going to be finishing P17 on track, but it looks like he's got some pretty serious penalties and gets pushed down to P18 as a result when Randolph crosses the line. Woodland then going to be the last man to come across the line, but certainly not last in the race, in at P19 on the field. Lovely stuff. Checking in then with there we go, with the lap times. A 1:38.5 flat there from Neon. An absolutely very speedy time for the 250 class by anyone's accounts there. We got a 1:39.144 from Finn. So getting some real serious pace there on the P4 bike. Ultimately P2 in the fastest lap competition though, just 6/10 off the leader. 7/10 off was Sam. And Lipo, the P2 bike, all the way down 2.2 seconds off the fastest lap with a 1:40.7. Just going to prove once again that consistency is the king in these MXBGP races. For now. But anyways, we're going to be cracking on with the race here tonight. Are my overlays good? My overlays are good. We're going to be chilling. Let's get ourselves on the grid then once again for the MX1 Moto 2 here in Portugal. Down go the gates then, and off we are. Going to be a fantastic start there for a few bikes. Unfortunately, Dill Pickle not so much. A bit of a wheelie there off the line. Looks like TJ and Hakon battle it out for the whole shot. It does go to Tyler J there on the MXB Mods KTM. We're going to see them come down over the Val, step down now. Very nice there for Tyler J. We've got Cam in the P2 position, Matteo for P3, and Sonny Wacky in P4. So a fantastic start then for the regulars. We'll get back onto the TV cams and see what's actually going on. Have a little closer look at the action. Hakon off to a relatively tough start there after what seems to be an incident after the first couple of turns. He was right up there with Tyler J at the beginning of the moto, but yeah, not a great situation at all for himself. But Owen Bala there just in front. Oh, Cam, a huge crash there for the MXB Mods Yamaha. Also, notes to all the for the chat. Nice to see a few different little bikes in the mix. Quacks Cam? What is that, Gems? I have no idea. Or are we requesting a person? Who even knows anymore? We make things up. Tyler J then and Matteo in the fight for P1. Looks like Tyler J on the MXB Mods bike looking nice and shiny this week. Matteo there on the Nostra KTM trying to close his way in. It's a tough little situation here when you're trying to pass the red plate leader of the championship. Of course, he's not going to want to be leaving any open doors for you to take advantage of. And always quadding his way over that jump there as well from the outside. Very nice stuff indeed. Getting away up and over the little double into this next section as we step down past the Black Label Company triple. Lovely stuff indeed. Matteo down the inside has a look. Can't quite get it done though. Tyler J comes across on a very nice defensive line there to block off any opportunity to pass down that inside route. We've got Steiner there on the Ace Moto KTM, certainly not far back either. Matteo has a bit of a moment there on the outside of the corner. And a bit of a wiggle. We're going to check back through the field just a little bit. Tommy Wack currently P4, Cam P5, HMP6, Quake for P7. Owen Umpala unfortunately going down there. Definitely not Linz is having an interesting race just ahead of the double bike. Not entirely sure what's going on with the double bike situation there. It seems to be it's Ben and Jen fused together. Good old MX bikes, man. We love to see it. Matteo then leading the moto now. It looks like Tyler J's had a bit of a moment and fallen off of his bike. Steiner then up and into P2 as a result, and Tyler J down to P3 now on the MXB Mods KTM. Certainly not where he expected to find himself coming into the second lap of the moto, but he'll have to deal with it. Cam here just behind, looking like he's trying to squeeze his way up and onto the podium here soon on that Yamaha, if he's got anything to say about it. For now though, Tyler J trying to get his way back down the inside of Steiner. Steiner though not giving him an inch, and the Ace Moto KTM is flying around the outside line there to try and create as much of a gap as possible. Tyler J down to the inside now then. These 450s have a much better chance of getting over into those waves to get a really nice line through this section, and it is really a much more equal line than it is on the 250s for the 450 class. Oh, a huge crash there. An unfortunate situation for Steiner and the Ace Moto team. He's definitely not going to be happy with that situation. Matteo then leading, but Tyler J coming hot on his heels, staring down the barrel of his exhaust pipe to try and find an opportunity through here. Cam there on the Yamaha makes this now a three-way fight for the lead as Tyler J continues to apply that pressure. We'll see if we can get it going. Cam's barking on that CBS suspension. Lovely stuff indeed, Chase. I assume you're not fucking with me, but he's doing quite nicely there in the P3, yeah? Tyler J here looking like he's really hot on the heels of Matteo, but Matteo's got a fantastic defensive strategy here on the Mostra KTM. Ultimately, it is costing him time, and it is allowing Cam to close the gap between the two of them. But at the same time, it is also fending off Tyler J, at least for the meantime. Yeah, Matteo's keeping a really solid set of lines here. And not giving up very easily at all. A little look at Cam here, getting super scrubby there. Very nice stuff. Tyler J with the full send, having learned from the 250s that it just kind of works. Matteo, though, proving that it's not that optimal in the 450 line. It is actually preferable to roll your way over that jump and just kind of accelerate down the straight. The 450 is more than capable. Unfortunately, Matteo makes a mistake coming down the hill, loses the front end, and Tyler J then resecures the racing lead as we come into the first 25 minutes of the race. Or into the first, well, coming to the end of the first 5 minutes of the race is what we're saying. Coming into 25 minutes left is, like, not really a sentence that makes sense. You can see that rut really starting to develop on the front of the valid mega jump there. Have a little peek on the next lap. I'm sure you'll notice it. For now, though, Tyler J is jumping way off to the side there. Absolutely no idea how he survived, but Cam is going to take advantage of that and close the gap right up as a result. Just a few bike lengths now separating them. Just a couple of tenths in there. And it's getting very spicy between these lads now. Over the JVDL design, step down we go for Cam. You can see him trying to maximise absolutely every inch of space that he has on the track here tonight. Yeah, keeping himself nice and solid for the moment. Oh, excuse me. Tyler J here looking nice and smooth, holding on for the position at least for now. Cam, though, absolutely barking around the outside right there. Did you see that? Flying his way down towards the finish jump. Unfortunately, it looks like he's had a bit of a crash there at the bottom of the hill. And it looks like Matteo then has resecured P2 as a result. Going to be a fantastic performance then for the Mostra KTM, provided he can hold on to that P2 position. HM not too far back on the OGR and NGS bike. That's a lot of acronyms there in OGR, NGS, AEO, KTM. Dear me, he's having a nice race here. Like, oh no, the commentator's curse has struck. Steiner there on the Ace Moto bike, trying to snatch away the position. Can the number 77 get through? Yes, he can. Cheeky little pass there then. 77 or 17? 17, my apologies. Tyler J, though, has opened up a pretty considerable gap now between himself and Matteo. Matteo then down in the P2 spot, of course. Holding on very nicely. He's opened a gap up between himself and Cam after Cam's discrepancy into that finish jump. HM finds his way around the outside there. Hakon closing in too on the other Ace Moto bike. Looking like he might be able to try and change some things up here. Getting a little spicy now up here at the front of the field, that's for sure. This is, of course, the battle for P3 now. Steiner currently holding on to that position. HM in P4. Definitely looking to get something tasty going on here. Sign him, boy! Cam there around the outside of HM, gets the position back, holding on to P4 now as a result. Steiner then still sitting in the podium. And Cam, of course, wants his seat back. Can he find it, though? That's the real question. It's going to be a tough situation there for the MXB Mods. Yamaha. Steiner to the outside there on the Ace motorbike, managing to get it done nicely. Did not know that line was the optimal route, but it looks like it definitely is. Look at that gap that's opened up as a result. Very, very cheeky line indeed. Steiner then having a nice bit of a battle between himself and Cam, ultimately running wide and losing some time that he's made back up. I'm sure we'll see that change in a short while though. I believe it is definitely faster. If you can if you can downside that sort of wall jump really quickly, I think it's faster on the 450 to just blast it down the straight. But of course, it's much more reliable to just send it. It's a lot easier to pull that off than it is to get that perfect downside. Steiner goes for the big send into the waves, lands a little bit deep and loses a tiny, tiny bit of momentum as a result, but manages to hold off the position for Cam. Cam, though, down the inside line will manage to scoop it away there. What a cheeky little pass as he come up and over the Valor Mega Jump and into the uphill hairpin. Steiner railing the outside line there. He wants this position back so bad. Cam there on the outside line now. Steiner looking to try and block him off. Can't quite get it done as there's a central rut there, but manages to come alongside once again as we come down the big Black Label Code triple step down into the next little split section corner we have here. Yeah, very, very spicy battle developing here as we've got Hakon, I believe, closing in on the other Ace motorbike there into the background. A little peek over with Mateo versus Tyler Jade. Hate to miss anything there. Looks like the gap's staying reasonably large for now. That 3 seconds does seem around right. Cam there rejoining the track ahead of Steiner. Not 100% sure that's strictly legal, but we're going to take it anyway for now. We've got Hakon around the outside line, Steiner to the inside. Looks like Hakon's going to get alongside here then as we come up and over the finish jump. Definitely does indeed, landing almost simultaneously. Hakon, though, coming off a lot worse. And unfortunately, it looks like he had a bit of a crash there at the bottom of the hill. Definitely not an ideal situation, though, for the P4 bike. Well, now P5, unfortunately. Steiner and Cam. Cam having a bit of a questionable rejoin once again. Not entirely sure what keeps him going off to the edge of the track there. I'm sure we might see some accidental penalties pick up as a result, though. Hopefully we don't see too many over the duration of the race. We've still got 20 minutes to go, of course. And if you keep making a mistake like that every lap, then that time really does start to add up quite quickly. That's Matteo there on the Mostra KTM, making sure he doesn't interrupt the battle that's going on as he rejoins, despite losing a couple of positions there. At least making sure the field is safe, which is always what we love to see. Unfortunately, that does mean he sacrificed P2, so Cam all the way up to P2 now. Steiner in P3. It looks like Cam is actually sitting on 1 to 2 seconds of penalties. That could actually be quite severe. We'll see over the next timing gate here. Yeah, that is pretty considerable. It looks like Cam's actually sitting on around 4 seconds of penalties, which is really, really not going to be a happy situation for him towards the closing stages of the race. Hopefully for him, the rest of the guys get some penalties, but of course they're not going to be trying to. Steiner having a bit of a questionable moment there on the Ace Moto KTM. Thankfully he gets it back up on 2 wheels nice and quick, but not before his teammate Hakon squeezes on by on the opposing KTM there. They're doing okay, but losing the time for the moment. Here's Tyler J, P1 on track, Cam P2 on track, but P3 by technicality. Ubisoft would ban you for Siege for that? Yeah, but that's because Ubisoft is a company that's made of sponges. Money sponges, more specifically. There goes my chance of a brand deal ever in the future, but I don't really care because I don't play Ubisoft games. Make me install an extra launcher. Get out of here. Big old send there for Hakon as he quads his way up and over the Valor Mega Jump. Lovely stuff indeed. I saw Steiner there as well. Not too far off the back of him. Could be re-securing some positions towards the closing stages. Have a little flick on down through the field, see who we can find, shall we? Who have we got here? We've got definitely not Linz on the Yamaha. He's putting in a nice little time. It's definitely not Linz, even though he's running Linz's number. Black Label Triple. Hell yeah. Yeah, we like the Black Label Triple. It's a very fun section of the track, as we've said many times here tonight. We'll see if Pretend Linda can get his way through on the Yami. It's going to be a tough situation though. Quake just ahead of him there on the Weenie Warriors. Is that Honda? It's a Fantic, my apologies. Quake's doing alright though there on the Weenie Warriors bike. It looks like he's holding on to an unfortunate penalty though. Roughly only a second. So nothing too major in the grand scheme of these kind of races. But it's definitely not ideal. But yeah, they're definitely not Linda Yami having a nice send there. Keeping himself very, very smooth indeed. We've got Quake side by side though on the Fantic. Inside we go. Two bikes we don't often see in this this 2024 season of the Aerial Championships. Side by side again as we come down the AB Customs bike. Proving that you don't really need a KTM to have a good time in these races. Down the inside of the Cross Designs Code. Step down. Looking nice and smooth. Yami down to the outside, trying to go for the drive. Quake, though, maintaining a defensive line here for the moment. Is it going to be enough to jump into the waves? It looks like it is maybe, just maybe. If Quake can hold on a line around the outside here, he may be able to outdrive into the corner. It doesn't look like it's going to happen, though. And the Yamaha will go on to secure the position as Quake rolls off the track. An unfortunate situation there, then, for the Weenie Warriors Fantic. Certainly not a one he's going to want to repeat too often. Up here at the front of the field, we've got Matteo versus Cam and Hakon in the mix in the battle for P2 once again on the track here. Cam, despite being P2 on the track, showing P4 on the timing gates due to those very severe penalties from earlier on. Yeah, you can see that's a ridiculous set of penalties there. It's got to be like a 5-second one, surely. Got to be like 5 seconds. Anyways. Yeah, Matteo's putting in a really nice bit of work here on the Mostra KTM to close that gap down between himself and the MXB mods at Yamaha just up in front. Can he make his position stick? That's the real question. Hakon on the Ace Moto KTM. Looking to make something work out of the background. Into the outside line we go. We know that inside's just ever so slightly faster, but obviously it's a little less consistent than just railing the outside right. It looks like Cam there loses 2 positions in two breaths, which is not good at all. All the way down to P4 now, as the timing gates showed already. But they were there down once again, unfortunately. A little bit of a commentator's curse scenario by the looks of things. We've got Hakon there, still holding on to that P2 position just ahead of Cam. Cam now P3 on track. That penalty still showing in P4 though. I'm sure as it updates, Matteo's time will move down a little bit through the field. We'll see as we come over this JVL design jump. Sorry, my apologies. My apologies. Alrighty, we are looking nice and smooth. Cam here trying to dive down to the inside. Can't quite find a position past Ace Moto teammate Hakon. Hakon then holding on for the P2 position for the moment here. Where was he going? What was that all about? Hold on a second. My apologies. I just need to figure this out. Yeah, he took a line down to the inside. Got a little bit too tight. Just clipped the outside line there. Not sure what happened there either, but Theo seems to have found his way through, as of course has Cam too. Looks like Hakon had a bit of a moment there over that finish jump again. Quite often getting himself caught up on the top of the face of that jump. Luckily for him, he holds on quite nicely to the back of Matteo's Mostra KTM. Is he going to get the position done towards the closing stages though? This is of course the battle for P3 on track here at the moment. Cam of course sitting in that P2 spot. Technicalities will determine whether he stays there or not. And the inside back on. We know this inside wave line is just ever so slightly faster. But then this outside rut line is more of a consistency thing than speed. Look at that rut there leading into the Valor Mega Jump. Ridiculous. I love a bit of a road. We've got, who's that just up in front? I believe it's Tomko. It is. On the TPF KTM. Unfortunately going to be waved a blue flag here and have to let these guys through. There he is down the inside, look, just giving way to the faster bikes. Always nice to see the blue flag being respected as it should be. Having a little look back up here though, we have a nice battle going on as Cam crashes out of the P2 position. Hakon and Matteo then now back up into P2 and 3 respectively. And the battle is back on between the Ace Moto KTM and the Mostra KTM. Is he out? Definitely not. Lender is here. He's currently sitting in the P8 position in the second moto. I didn't quite catch the first one, unfortunately, so I didn't get to see who finished off where in the first moto of the 450s. But I'll be checking it out after the race a little later on. For now, though, Matteo down to the inside of Hakon. Can't quite get his way into the P2 position just for the moment. Hakon putting in a really nice bit of defensive line. Unfortunately, with a big old cross jump there, losing some time as a result. Oh no! Disaster for the Ace Moto KTM as he tucks his wheel in the transition between the corner and the uphill. Cam then almost manages to get the position done as a result, but it's just not quite going to stick just yet. But yeah, we'll have a little flick back down to definitely not Linz, and see how he's getting on. Overall, not too bad here on the AMP. Currently holding on to P7, but struggling to catch up in terms of lap time by the looks of it. With 39.4, which is by no means a slow lap. But then 41, 43, 42. And if we check up with the likes of Tyler J, who's of course leading the field, we've got 40s consistently. Matteo's putting in 38s and 39s, a 43 there with a crash lap. We've got Hakon, very, very similar, 37.8 best. So you can see the Yami back there definitely struggling a little bit with the speed here tonight. Down the inside there for Cam as he tries to switch his way back underneath Hakon. Can't quite get it done though. Howell giving way to the blue flag as always. Lovely to see. Cam then trying desperately to force this Yamaha past. It's still 11 minutes on the clock though. And it's anyone's guess as to whether or not he's going to get it through. Hakon, very, very known for just very good consistency throughout. Consistent pressure as well. Doesn't usually crack very easily. You can see here, he's just making tiny little minor mistakes, but it's nothing too untoward here at the moment. There's similar mistakes to what Cam's making. We're going to send our way up and over all the lap down bikes. Nearly got it by. Nearly got it by. That's the next there here. There we go, giving way to the outside. Nice stuff. We are enjoying the Triumph Racing KTM just up in front, hopefully giving way here very shortly to Hakon 2. Looks like he does so here. Well, not voluntarily by the looks of it, but he does so regardless. Got Matteo and Cam here having a fantastic battle in the fight for P3 here towards the closing third of the race. Cam here looking very nice and smooth, currently holding on to that podium position. Mr. Lundstrom with the follow. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Welcome in. Oh, Cam and Matteo having a slight bit of contact there between the two of them. Nothing too major. And both bikes stay with the shiny side facing up. And Matteo re-secures the P3 position here on track. Cam tries to snatch it back, but just can't get his front wheel underneath. Oh, excuse me. I need to have a quick drink. My apologies. Oh, as Cam goes around the outside. Why do I always have to have a drink when there's, like, things going on? Give me a sec. Alright, we're good. Cam then putting in some serious work now onto the back of Matteo's Mostra KTM. It's going to be a tough situation here. The MXB Mods Ace Moto Yamaha though, putting in some serious work down the inside line, going to send it deep into the finish jump. Looking nice and smooth. We land nice and early there on the Yamaha as well, giving us a good drive up and over this triple. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough to close up just yet. Cam here closing up onto the back of Matteo now, trying to put some work in. It's very, very difficult though, as we see. Matteo's obviously a relatively consistent rider. It looks like Hakon, unfortunately, despite me singing his prayers earlier on, has had some kind of moment. Not sure whether he's retired, not sure whether he's crashed, but sure as shit the game won't show me what he's doing. What an unfortunate situation there for Hakon. We were doing very, very nicely there in the top three. Looks like, unfortunately, it must be some kind of game crash. It must be. He's still moving through the positions. That is really unfortunate. Really unfortunate if that was the case. Matteo and Cam here, though, are going to give us a nice little spectacular battle in the fight for P2 here, hopefully, as long as Cam can catch back up to this Mostra KTM. Matteo's been putting in some really nice laps here recently. Oh no, why do we have to commentate as curse everyone we ever see? Oh, the tragedy strikes here in Portugal. What an unfortunate situation there for Matteo. Matteo, I'm very sorry. Luckily for him, though, Cam does have around 7 seconds of penalties, which is not an ideal situation here for the MXB Mod Yamaha, and he could be losing out on that P2 position as a result, as we saw happen in the 250 Moto 1 race as well, between Sam and Lipasek. Fritz Jack, how are you getting on, man? Welcome in. We're having ourselves a nice little battle here. You're catching us in the final 7 minutes of the 450 Pro race here at the MXBGP of Portugal. It's a nice little track here tonight. We've got some big old jumps for some real style points, but that does not mean that you get any relief in the corners. The corners are just as technical, just as punishing as ever. Yes, we do seem to have the Gen Ben merged bike there in the background, unfortunately. Hopefully nothing too major goes on there. Fingers crossed the server stays in one piece. We should be alright. They've been like that since the gates. Oh, dearie me. Cam holds it together, though. Jesus. Absolutely no idea how he kept that bike in one piece, but we're going to absolutely take it. The gap between himself and Matteo now is open wide enough to clear Cam's penalty as well. So Matteo's got to put in some really, really serious work here to close that gap back down to within technical limits in the next 6 minutes or so. Who is streaming the NAAMs? It will be Swerd. I'll see if I can get him another shout out, but I gave him a shout out earlier, so it might not let me. But yeah, it will be Swerd, as per usual, doing the NA MXBGP. Ooh, hang on, that's a Discord link. I have to wait 2 minutes 59 seconds. Alright, just search this into YouTube, you'll see him. He'll be your NA host for later on here tonight. Let's see. I haven't double checked yet, but we should have the amateur race as well tonight. But I know they were struggling for a little bit of help on the hosting situation here tonight, because Falcon's got some things he needs to get done with family and that. And what do you think, Chase is going to stream as well? Nice. Yeah, I know a handful of the pro riders do usually stream their POVs as well, as they do for EU, I'm sure. I know that, for example, Linz will stream his POVs when he races, etc., etc. Good old Rupert up to when he qualifies. We've got Cam here having a tough situation here, trying to get back past the lap down bike of Vadim. Doesn't look like the Blue Flags bike's giving him too much of an easy situation. He hasn't caught quite up yet to allow that Blue Flag to come into real effect, but now Vadim is going to have to give way, and does so, which is nice to see. Cam then making his way through without any let or hindrance. Always good to see. We've got no, I need to say Cam. It's Matteo there on the Mostra KTM. Doing very, very nicely in that P3 position. He's got just a couple of seconds to close up between himself and Cam in order to re-secure that P2 position by technicality at the end of the race. Might be stupid, why isn't Lynn streaming today? Full focus today? Not 100% sure, not 100% sure. I could have sworn he was streaming. Because I swear I saw the notification, like, about half an hour before I started my stream. So, usually, when he goes into qualifying. He is. You liars, Lundstrom. But yeah, speaking of, all the way up into P4 now on the blue machine. Didn't get posted to his Discord? Ah, not to worry, must have forgot. Or the bot needs an update, one of the two. But no, he's doing very nicely. He's made up some good positions here towards the closing stage of the race. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit too little, a little bit too late, I think, before getting on that podium without any dramatic changes between Matteo and Cam. Although, that's not to be disregarded, as these two have had a couple of major, major crashes throughout the race. But no, we shall see. Of course, we're going to go back with Matteo now as he tries to get his way back past the Moto KTM. The KTM, it's a Yamaha. It's very clearly a Yamaha. Couple of one screw jelly on the other. Big W's. Big W's. That's how to rock it, man. That is how you rock it. Oh, Cam running it wide there. An unfortunate situation forces him to take an emergency exit line. Lucy on the AEO bike there. Looking nice and smooth though in the KTM. Unfortunately, he is let down, but keeping nice smooth riding. Unfortunately, it looks like Matteo's got their way through. I don't know why that's unfortunate. That's a good thing, because Lucy's a blue flag bike, unfortunately. So Matteo then chilling very, very nicely. Holding on for that P3 spot on the track. Showing P2 on the leaderboard because of Cam's very, very dramatic penalties here tonight. And of course, Tyler J is 25 seconds in front of second place. I mean, it happens, you know? It happens, Seal. The guy is very, very fast. He is very, very consistent. And if you let him break away at the start of the race, he'll just keep running. Unfortunately, he has had a couple of slow laps here across lap 15 and 16 of tonight's moto. So we could see that lap gap start to close up towards the closing stages as the endurance starts to get to him, as that mental fatigue starts to set in. But I don't really think it's going to be enough to close that 19-second gap unless something really, really dramatic happens. Would it have happened if my game didn't crash? I know, right? I know, right? It's an unfortunate situation, Hakon. We can't always predict these things, though, unfortunately. Tyler J looking nice and smooth, though, and holding on for that racing lead. Matteo then in P2, ahead of Cam now, I believe, on track as well as on the leaderboard, which is always very, very nice if you want to finish strong. Of course, it's great getting the penalty back after a penalty technicality, or the position back, sorry, after a penalty technicality gets applied at the end of the race. But at the same time, it feels way better inside to get it done on the track too. So Matteo is going to be very, very happy to be holding that P2 position on track. And you can see 7 seconds between them on the timing board, but only around 1 second between them on the actual track, leaving us with Cam's roughly 6 to 7 seconds of penalties. Meanwhile, definitely not Linda's closing in. He's just 5 seconds now off the back of Cam's penalty time. That's always very nice to see indeed. TJ is definitely barking. We'll always go in with the leader at the end of the final lap. Or, well, we'll probably give him the entire final lap, to be honest, because he hasn't had too much screen time yet tonight. Quake, unfortunately, goes down there on the Weenie Warriors fan tick, allowing Tommy Mack to go through. Tommy having a questionable moment of his own. I'm not sure. That's happened to a few other bikes here tonight. I think the front of that jump face... I think the front of this jump face is starting to get a little bit unpredictable for some riders. Look at that rut. That is some beautiful work there. My God, that is deep. So you can see why some riders are having a tough time. They're trying to stay inside that jump, forcing different lines to be taken here. Anyways, back over with the TV cams as we come into the closing stages now. Cam there finds his way back up in front by the looks of things on the track. But they're still holding the position by technicality here. But yeah, you go. The Yamaha is just in front there. We've got Jacob Stewart there on the KTM as well. He's having a nice time. Here we go though for Cam. He's cooking, absolutely cooking. He's got a few more seconds to open up between himself and Matteo before he's officially P2 towards the end of the race. But if he can pull that gap open, he may be able to get that P2 spot. Otherwise, it's just going to have to be a settle for P3 kind of situation here tonight. Definitely not Linda is actually closing time to Tyler J. And the gap between himself, Cam, and Matteo. So that could be an interesting thing had he had another 10 minutes in the race. He may be able to pull some extra time back. He may be able to pass Cam by the penalty points. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to actually secure past Matteo. That's going to be a whole different ballgame, I think, in the last 3 laps. Cam there does go down, losing some time. They're then going to be closing that gap right up immediately. As a result, you can see him just here coming into the corner not too long afterwards as well. So he's definitely going to be holding on to that position as much as he can. Oh no! Disaster there for the Linda Yami. Definitely not a good situation to find yourself in the closing stages of the race, but P4 is still a valiant position to be in. So I'm sure he'll be happy to take it if he can. Podiums always taste sweeter though. Steiner then holding on for P5, just behind on the Ace Moto KTM here. Looking nice and smooth here tonight. He's had a few unfortunate crashes and some really spectacular ones at that. But he's held a really seriously good pace here tonight. And pretty decent consistency, all things considered. Yeah, you can see some of those heavy rutted lines just not really usable now. And as a result, people having to compensate and take either different lines or adjust their line choice in that rut section to avoid the worst of the road, of course. Between there to the outside, starting to the inside. This motorbike passes the Bird Moto down Lapper without too many mojos, without too many issues. That's what I was trying to say. Don't know where mojos came from. Linda's having a tough little time here. He's lost a little bit more time to the leader. Obviously after that earlier incident, which is definitely not super ideal. Not used to seeing it making other mistakes. Here we come though onto our final lap with Tyler J as our racing leader. We're going to hover on with the racing lead, see what these 450 lines should look like then here at the end of the EU race in Fuller Road. Oh no! An unfortunate misjudgment of the lap of down on bike speed. Tyler J then does connect with the back of Jones 797's. Unfortunate situation, but ultimately just a bit of a racing incident there, nothing too untoward. The Yami in the air obviously wasn't trying to get hit. Tyler J here was just carrying so much more speed, I don't think he could process what was going on. Around the outside we go then for the MXB Mods KTM as we come down towards the massive Valor jump. Absolutely colossal stuff here tonight. It comes up and around the hairpin, looking nice and tight, nice and smooth indeed. Owen Bartlett just up in front. Jay Talon too, hopefully staying out of the way. Oh my days, that was close. I'm sure we needed a fabric colour check there for the racing leader. Doing very nicely, but I'm sure they're quite brown. Here we go, we've got a couple more lap down bikes in front. If he plays it smart, he might just sit behind them. Unless he could find a clean open gap. Looks like he found one past Tomko, so now it's a lot easier to just find his way past Owen. Obviously it's a lot tougher when the two bikes in front are battling, but if you can get past one of them, you can get past two of them. Doesn't look like he's going to need to though. Owen may be able to hold away from being lapped once again here, so he's going to be very happy about that, I'm sure. Tyler J though comes around the outside, gets the lap down pass done as we come up and over the line. Beautiful stuff then for the MXB Mods KTM, and what a whip for the finish as well. Matteo here on the Mostra KTM should be bringing home P2. He's got the gap ahead of Cam on track and on the penalties, so he's going to be very, very happy with that situation indeed. A very well fought P2 and a very well deserved one at that. Landing in the wheelie, nice. Cam here on the MXB Mods Yamaha putting in a fantastic battle here tonight, but it just wasn't meant to be. Those penalties caught him really, really early on, and the rest of the race was spent trying to fight against those. Definitely not Linda pulled in an absolutely fantastic P4 here towards the end of the night after a very, very difficult start. Lovely stuff indeed. We always like seeing people make up the security races, or not the security races. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a salvage race. That's what I'm saying. Steiner then for P5. HM will be picking up P6 here shortly, as we just wait for him to come up and over the last couple of turns. But yes, nice stuff indeed. Alrighty, lovely stuff then. And we've got Gleno in the P10 spot. So, the top 10 here then tonight. We've got Tyler J, Matteo and Cam up on the podium. Definitely not Linda in P4. And we had Steiner for P5, HM for P6, Tommy Wack for P7, Dill Pickle for P8, Quick for P9, and Gleno for P10. A nice performance here then from the 450 class. We're going to have a quick look at these fastest lap times. See what sort of stuff we've got on the board here then. We have 37.867 there from Hakon, the fastest on the field by nearly half a second. Matteo there, after picking up P2, was second fastest with a 38.360, a 38.6 from Dill Pickle, and a 38.8 from Cam. Tyler J, our race winner, bear in mind, by nearly 20 seconds, by a sheer show of consistency, a whole second off the optimal lap time, was 138.891. Just going to show once again that consistency means more than anything else. Linda managed to pull back up to P4 there with a 138.959 as his best lap of the race. But always nice to see.